You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, let's talk about something that we have covered for close to 5 years, maybe 5 years now. However long it's been since Jon Gruden got fired by the Raiders and then slapped them with a big old fat lawsuit because somebody decided to leak a bunch of emails and then pretend like nobody else out of all those hundreds of thousands of emails said anything off the cuff, which is exactly what happened, which also means somebody targeted Jon Gruden, and Jon Gruden knew it. Somebody wanted him out. All right? Somebody wanted him out. And Jon Gruden, of course, he didn't take it lying down. He filed a lawsuit. It's for a lot of money. Last time I checked, I think the lawsuit's for $50 million. But the NFL, this is getting interesting because the NFL has opted to not try to challenge Jon Gruden's arbitration ruling to the U.S. Supreme Court, with the feeling being the NFL thinks they will lose if they do that. They think they will lose arbitration. Here's the problem for the NFL, and this is what they've been trying to avoid. By the way, this is what they try to avoid in every case. They don't want anything going to public open court because they don't want people to be able to step in via a live stream and watch all their people in the league office start getting called one by one to a stand, including Roger Goodell, including owners, and answering a bunch of uncomfortable questions. And if I'm to guess, I'm going to guess that this will end up settling. I would think. They're going to offer something that maybe Gruden can't refuse. Boy, here we go. Jon Gruden, through a last-ditch effort to sway the Nevada Supreme Court to see things his way, won the right to keep his case in court. And the NFL did not attempt to appeal the final ruling to the U.S. Supreme Court. As to Gruden's case, that ends the issue. The case will play out in Nevada, which will include, absent a dismissal or settlement, a trial in open court. The league's decision to punt on an appeal may have something to do with the fact that the NFL's argument as to Gruden was based on a flimsy, disingenuous effort to cram Gruden's claims into an obscure provision of the NFL Constitution and bylaws. The league, presumably, decided it wasn't worth trying to get the Supreme Court, first, to take up the case, and second, to see it the NFL's way. Yeah, because the Supreme Court could have also been like, we're not looking at that trash. We're not looking at that. Jon Gruden, as a result, has the tiger by the tail. He reportedly wants to, quote, burn the NFL's house down. Unless and until the league makes him a financial offer he can't refuse, Jon Gruden will have every effort to expose who leaked emails that engineered his ouster during the 2021 season. He wants exactly that. He wants to know, because there was an initial round of leaks, and Mark Davis said, okay, that's great, but I'm not firing Jon Gruden. And then a week later, there was another round of leaks, and then reportedly behind the scenes, a whole lot of pressure to fire Jon Gruden. By the way, there was they went to the NFL owners meetings. Famously, there was somebody in the media approached Mark Davis outside, and somebody asked him something. He said, I don't know. You go ask all them on the inside. He was pissed. He was pissed. at the other owners in general. That continues to be the biggest issue in the case. It's not about Gruden. It's about the fact that someone undermined the integrity of the 2021 NFL season by taking out Jon Gruden, not before or after, but during the campaign. That's the other thing. The league knew about all of this prior to the season having started. And for whatever reason, they just sat on it. And then Jon Gruden was, of course, very publicly and famously fired during the season. Without Jon Gruden, the Raiders got to the playoffs. By the way, he had a winning record when they fired him. They had a winning record. You could tell Gruden had finally gotten that team ready to go. The Raiders got to the playoffs, nearly beat the Bengals, who got to the Super Bowl and nearly beat the Rams. How differently would that year have gone if Jon Gruden had been taken out? That's the point to remember as the case unfolds. Yes, the emails he sent, while not employed by the NFL, were not good, but they knew about Jon Gruden's emails before the season started, and he could have been targeted then. Instead, someone waited until the season has begun, and the effort impacted Jon Gruden and the Raiders and their fans and the integrity of the entire season. The one reason I like to go to PFT when there are updates on this is because Florio is a lawyer. That's what he actually is an attorney. And so he's able to decipher things like this and what's going on. Now, me and Florio certainly don't see eye to eye on politics, but we both agree Jon Gruden got screwed. This whole thing wasn't handled the right way, and there was some kind of a targeting situation that was involved here. No doubt about it. Not only that, but this is what scares the NFL and why they never want to go to open court. Going to be a lot of uncomfortable questions like, let's see all of the emails. All of them. Publicly. And you mean to tell me when we go through all these emails, none of these other general managers, owners, executives in the league, Roger Goodell himself, DeMaurice Smith, none of them are going to have said anything over email that could be construed as offensive by somebody. Oh, there was? What did y'all do? Did you fire them? Oh, no, you didn't? Funny how that works. Boom, Gruden wins. We know Gruden is getting closer and closer to coaching in the NFL again. Now, whether or not that is by way of him taking a offensive coordinator job and then working himself back to head coach, or taking a high-profile college job. Again, he nearly took the LSU job. That was real close. It was between Brian Kelly and Jon Gruden. A lot of people forget that. A lot of people don't even know it. It's interesting. It is. Because the NFL does not want this stuff to spill out in court on a live stream that everybody's tuned into. I believe what is going to happen is the NFL is going to offer Jon Gruden a massive settlement, and then they're going to put out the word, and a lot of people believe they already have, put out the word to the rest of the NFL because he showed up with the Ravens, Chiefs, Saints, and 2 or 3 other teams during training camp, during some consultation work for several clubs. Why? Because they respect him and want to pick his brain. It's not the players and coaches in the league that believe this guy's a racist. Nobody ever did anyway. A slew of black players, ex-players came out and defended the guy. But, man, something's got to give. There goes my dog barking at absolutely nothing. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.